Hello, everyone. My name is Anna. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch this. My name is Anna. I'm a biostatistician at Duke Clinical Research Institute. And for those who don't know, it's an academic research organization located here in Durham. And the title of my presentation today is Facilitating Open Source Transitions, Lessons Learned from a Hands-on Art Training Initiative. And I would like to walk you through the lessons learned we had from the implementing art training within our organization. Over the last couple of days, we've been exposed to an excellent technical content, and it's been evident that there's a huge amount and the exponential growth of the available tools currently in our field. That's why today, actually, I'm not going to be focusing on the technology rather than an educational part. Um, it is important to emphasize that currently people are facing an organization are also facing difficulties with implementing these new tools within the organizations, especially a large one, and that will be the main topic of the discussion today. In our clinical research currently, there's a rising use of R and Python across industry and academia, and it's not random. It's due to regulatory agencies showing openness to R-based submissions and the pressure for transparency, reproducibility, and collaboration. DCRI is heavily focused on SaaS, and because of these reasons, we decided to invest more in open source. There's also a couple of more reasons why we think it's beneficial. Is because it's cost effective as an alternative to proprietary tools. There's a very active community support and shared resources globally, not only locally, and adoption of novel methodologies is much faster. For example, like for application for AI and machine learning. As I mentioned, currently we're facing transition period, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution for a transition. So because of these reasons, because of the reasons that different organizations have a different roadmaps and different standards, it is very difficult to come up with a one plan. There's some communities work that has been essential, like Johnson and Johnson coming up with clear guidelines for how to implement and improve processes, and a community work like community initiatives like open source, R and Pharma, or chemists that are developing tools to help with a transition. However, it seems like the human aspect it's been understudied, and it's also important to note that in the workload during the in the workforce, it's actually the training might be sometimes very challenging to implement because of the time constraint. That's why our training was meant to translate a high-level intent to more to a day-to-day work in a very sustainable and staff-friendly way. We have implemented training from at the end of the 2023 through the middle of 2024, and we covered the basics of R through creating functions and more advanced and visualization through more advanced topics like R Markdown and modeling. We organized 1 month sessions with a hybrid training that allows for in-person and online participation. We also had breakout rooms for exercises with an R expert, feedbacks collected after the surveys of feedback collected through surveys after the sessions, materials available prior, and all the sessions were recorded and stored in centralized location. What we found also very helpful was post-training office hours that allowed people to ask questions. The advantages, as I mentioned pre-shared materials, recorded sessions, breakout rooms, using our cheat sheets, and ongoing support. We also identified the challenges, but because of the time, I'm going to move to lessons learned. In terms of the lessons learned, what we found what's challenging was to explain staff very well the environment that we're working on and how R was set up within that environment. We also identified it's very important to explain a lot of basics, and the key elements were also examples that can relate to work today, day-to-day work. We also identified that it's important to make references to the software that is already familiar and show also the benefits of the tools that, like in our case, where the simple was the data visualization can be easily done in R. We also emphasized that through the learning curve that how to implement all the new tools using AI and large language models to help with transition. For the next step, we are hoping to formalize the training, build it and align SOPs, and encourage staff to explore. Thank you.